What's going on? So we have an exciting site, and I wasn't going to break out the camera. Started this one last week. We're doing some excavation, some clearing, and it is just in a super unique area. I am in Silver Springs, Florida. We're on a 20-acre site. We're completely surrounded by preserve. Got you some good drone footage. But what's really unique about this site, A, we have clay-based soils, but B, there's monkeys here. So in the early 1920s, I think they had a Tarzan movie in this area. They also released monkeys in this area for tourism, and now they're repopulating by about 11% per year. I think they said there's a population of about 300 monkeys in this area. On top of monkeys, we have panthers, we have black bear, we have deer. Right next to me on the other side, there is this giant hunting preserve where they're breeding a rare variety of deer. I've never seen anything like it. They have some crazy horns on them. They've been up at the fence a couple of times now. But I'll show you some of the things that are going on here that makes this site so exciting. So first things first, all of this wood you guys see is black locust. This was all brought in. They're using a burning process to cure this, and then they're putting linseed oil on it, which I believe these are already done over here on this side. So all of these are being burned, linseed oil treated, and then gonna be put up as kind of a permanent long-term fence around the site. You guys can see the burning tool, the giant torch we have over here. And then the linseed oil, which is going to make this really, really permanent. This is like the never rot, the fence that'll be here for life. 100 years from now, this fence will still be here in the yard. I'll show you the area we're working in. So today I don't have the design with me. On the next video I make, I'll break out the design. I'll kind of show you guys what we're doing here. But we're at the main entry of the house and got a ton of some really good dirt. So basically this entire space, there's a couple of crap trees we took out. And I say crap trees, like just a really bad water oak that was like 10 foot, and a pretty beat up small cedar. Everything else was already taken out before we got here, so there's some pine tree stumps. This is right now the driveway the homeowner's using, but the goal is to create a second driveway coming in that leads right up to the front door. So we're basically excavating, clearing the site. I attempted to dig out a couple of these stumps, and I just could not believe how much clay we brought up to the surface. Makes a lot more sense to probably get those ground. But this is some of the best dirt I've ever seen. I got this from a local guy I buy compost from, that we buy mulch from right here out of Ocala. And I think this is probably better than most of the compost I'm buying back home. Really impressed with the quality of the soil we're putting over this area. And eventually that main door entry is gonna go right up to the front door. This left area is going to have all fruit trees, kind of just a polyculture of native trees and support species for the space. But our next step, after we get done grading, after we get done leveling, we're going to put sun hemp down around about 80% of the site, and then a couple of the edge areas I have a southern wildflower mix. We're going to put some of that out just to add some color in here. We're going to let this sit for a month or two. We're going to come back and we'll probably start our install, but we just want to add some nitrogen to the soil. We want to protect the soil. The idea being plant the weeds you want or you get the weeds you don't want. So if I just graded this and I am going to put mulch on top, we're going to get all kinds of stuff coming up. Nature's going to find a way. So when we plant the sun hemp, we plant the flowers, we're kind of planting what we want. Ideally, we're going to get a lot less weed pressure that way. So the new front door, kind of heading right up to that entry point here. And you can see some of those stumps. They don't make grading very easy. Ideally, those would have already been ground out of here. The stump grinder guy's behind, and there's probably 150 stumps here on the site. They're waiting on bush hogging to get him out so he can find them all. But this is the space that we're working with over here in Tarzan monkey land. And it's almost a hill. It really drops off over here to that way, drops off to that way, drops off to the back of the property, and goes out towards the road. So we don't have a lot of slope here, but we have a little bit of slope. There was a lot of low areas in here. So I came in with the excavator, pretty much scraped the entire site. Most of this is going to be fruit trees through this space and just kind of a wild area. When I come back with the next video, I'll show you guys the design and kind of long-term goal here. Once we get this space done, we're kind of moving to that field over there where you see that brush pile. And that's where the main orchard's going to go. We're going to have about 10 rows on contour with just a variation of stone fruits and cold hardy fruit trees that do well in this area. And then back past the pines, all the way back into zone 5, we're going to have a nut zone where we're going to do some pecans and some chestnuts. So Lots of exciting stuff going on here. Over there by the well, the homeowner's into making clay pots. She's actually been digging clay out of the ground, putting it through a process and making pottery off the clay on this property. So super unique site. Like I said, I was here for 2 days last week. I didn't think it was film worthy, but I was out filming all day yesterday, had the camera in the back seat. I was like, I gotta show you guys this site. It's not too often you get to a place that has monkeys, that has panthers, that has bears, that has clay. So kind of an exciting project. We did end up bringing in 15 20-yard trucks to this, so we've got 300 yards of what they call topsoil, but what I would really like to call compost. This stuff just, it smells good, it looks good. It's also been down a couple of days in the sun, so it is getting a little bit more of a gray color to it, but you can see the bottom stuff is a little bit darker. Client wanted a little bit of soil brought up to the house for potting. We tried to fill this bag and it collapsed. That didn't quite work, so I'm gonna bring some big pots and bring them over there for the garden area. What do you know about the black locust burning and linseed station? Pretty cool. All right, so last week had the excavator and the bobcat. This week got the wheel loader and the bobcat. All right, it's hot, it's muggy. I need to get back to work, guys. We do site work, we do clearing, we do excavation, grapple work, you name it, because a lot of times these other contractors, they don't do it to the specs that we want. They're not quick enough. So a lot of times we end up just doing this stuff ourselves because we want to get it done right and get it done right the first time. So Ocala project with monkeys, stay tuned. I think this was a fun one, 2023. Start a garden, start a food forest, pound dirt.